is my high mileage Mustang. And it's not doing so hot. As you can see, it's not floating, it's on jack stands, because it's not really drivable at the moment. There's a couple reasons for that. So if you didn't know, I'm on the Clock app, I'm on TikTok. Same name as it is here, Moto Taco. And if you aren't following me there, which probably most of you do not know I'm on there, you would know that my motor is killing itself. How is it doing that? How can a motor kill itself? Well, it's very simple. You see, I took it to Pro Auto and I said, hey, car doesn't really feel as fast. It kind of sounds different in the exhaust, like it attacks your ear more. It's not as nice in the ear, which doesn't make sense, but you know, you drive your car every day, you get to know it. You know, if I'm gonna race it in June, I want y'all to look over it. So this was middle of May or something, I don't know. As they do a good job and they drain the oil and they call me and they said, hey, 3 quarts came out. Barely 3 quarts at that. And I said, oh no, I take 8. Somehow drank 5 quarts of oil in 5 months. So, as a kid that's just out of college with a job, I say, oh, that's easy. I'll just buy a truck. So I started looking at trucks, and I don't really know what I want, but as I look, I know what I want, and now I'm picky, and it's hard to find a truck. So that's that. And I said, well, obviously you don't want me to track it. They're like, no, we cannot recommend that. You can, but it'll probably blow up on the first lap or so. There's no telling. It could last the whole weekend, because I'd be racing with NASA. I said, all right, well, how long would it last as a daily driver? And they said, there's no telling if you baby it. I mean, it could last for a whole while. Yeah, I was daily driving it, just fine, you know, kind of smells like oil, which, go figure. And then I'm pulling out of the grocery store, and I start hearing these weird noises, and then the noise comes to my car, and it's my car making the noise. And that's where we get to why it's on jacks. Long story short, the bolt sheared off. Sorry, not the bolt. The nut, I don't even know what you call it. So, rear strut, right? It threads in the trunk. And where the nut goes all the way down, and there's threads sticking out, those threads sheared off. So, the strut, is just bouncing around in the hole.
In the future, if I want to say something funny or witty or do an impression, I will no longer ever do any of those things.
I don't want to drive it on the road like that. So then I called BC Racing, because that's what I run. They get a lot of crap, but I think they're fine, especially for the money. It's like, you can have those coilovers or like another setup of springs and struts and whatnot. And kind of saved me in the long run because I had to raise the car, and if I couldn't raise the car, that would have been a whole debacle. Anyway, that's another video. Yeah, they're rebuildable, and I can get parts. So that happened. That was a whole tangent. I kind of forgot I was talking about the high mileage update. So, high mileage update. Nothing has happened except for this and the engine. Oh, this will come off. There's like this rubber gasket. I was washing the car one day and it'll just like, it flakes off in your hand. So, kind of sucks, but it's not super needed. It keeps debris out of the firewall thing, and it doesn't clog up the drain, so, there's that. And the driver's side is where it is really happening, and sticks and stuff can get down there and clog that thing up, and I made a whole video on that, how to unclog it. Other than that, she's holding up fine. She's starting to peel, or as I like to call it, natural camo. I mean, pretty sick camo job, if I say so myself. But along with this update comes the question of, what do I want to do with this car? I've owned it for 5 years, 6 years, and I've loved every minute of it. I don't have any regrets. People said I would, I don't. And so the whole NASA thing, I wanted to start racing that, going back to that. This car does and doesn't make sense. It does, because it's not worth anything. You look up the Kelley Blue Book value on this, 2011 Mustang GT with like 210,000 miles. By the way, I have 208,000 miles, technically. Maybe 209 by now. But 210, let's round up, 210,000 miles. It's not worth anything. It's worth like 5-6 grand. And to me, okay, let's buy a race car for 5 or 6 grand. It's not possible. It is, but it's not. I mean, I've seen an older SN95 for 6,500, but that's a whole other thing. So it's like, yeah, this is good because, it's not worth anything. So if I wreck it, oh well, so be it. Does make sense because I know the car very well. But it doesn't make sense because the engine's going out. And if I put a new motor in or something, like pulled one or something, with labor and everything, I'm looking at 5 or 6 grand. So it's like, all right, let me buy a race car for 5 or 6 grand, and we're back to square one. So then it's like, well, what if I just sell it, part it out, get more than 5 or 6 grand, get closer to 10 grand? What can I buy for that? And then it's like, well, I could buy like a new Edge Mustang, and I kind of like the new Edge Mustangs a lot. So that's where it is, you know. But I mean, the car's like pretty solid. I've never had to replace a clutch since 140,000. So in 70,000 miles, I've never had to replace a clutch. I don't know what's in it. I don't know how old it is. I don't think it was new when I bought it. But you know, there's that. Transmission never broke. The Glass MT82, you know, solid for me. I like it. The gearing can be a little different. So maybe the newer ones with fourth, 1-to-1 is good. But again, that's not this. You know, I've just done basic stuff to it. Like I keep saying, and I keep replying to people like, oh, what all is wrong with it? It's like, just take care of the car and it'll take care of you. Like literally oil changes every 5,000 miles, brake fluid and coolant every 2 years or so. Bearings will go out whenever they go out. You know, bearings are bearings. But it's like all this preventative stuff is easy to do, and that kind of keeps the car going. And like, there is no secret. I mean, I just got lucky, I think, because I could have bought the higher mileage one and it could have been dogged on and it could have given out on like 160 or, I mean, I've seen guys with this generation car and they go out at 100,000 miles. There's no telling. A car, this also goes to, these things are so widely produced. There's so many of them. You're always going to have a bad egg in the batch. And those people are going to be so loud about how terrible of a car it is. Like me, I try to balance it out. Like, this has been a great car. But there's people that's like, well, I bought it and in a year it blew up on me. It's like, well, that could be you. That could be the car. It could just be a bad egg. And that's when everybody starts arguing. But this car is like pretty solid. And I also tell people it's like a truck motor. So like trucks are designed to last a long time and work, and then they just throw that motor in a car. Like, it should last a long time. And if you saw my light video, these lights are still holding up good. I love them. I've debated selling them for race car things. Who wants the stock 10 to 12? Hardly anybody. Sell those, put that money towards an engine or something. Same thing with the carbon fiber and the, I might keep the Alcantara, but you know, it's not necessary. And especially these floor mats, like, I love them. They're great. They're pretty durable, but I don't need them to race. How much can I get for all my nice parts? You know, I haven't really done the math. I haven't looked too far into it, but that's also a thought. But yeah, I haven't had any like hoses blow on the engine or anything like pop off or blow up. Oh, I did replace a thermostat. Replaced the thermostat in January or February. I was not getting hot air for like 10 minutes into my drive. Turns out it was a bad gasket. I don't know why this has a gasket. The one I replaced it with didn't have a gasket. But I mean, it was just, essentially it was stuck open, and maybe that was why. But yeah, otherwise to me it looks fine. Just the gasket is bad. So I did that. I did the coolant flush in December as well. Took it to Ford because apparently I can't get all of it out. So they replaced it. It went from green to the now correct yellow coolant, or gold, whatever. Because somehow they're different, yellow and gold. I don't know why Ford is so stupid with names. I mean, they got a lot that's wrong. I also, in March-ish, I replaced the rotors and the pads. Nick just said throw CarQuest Premium Gold on there. Simple for a daily driver. He said if you race it, just wear them out and replace it with better stuff. But you see, they aren't slotted and drilled or dimpled anymore like these are. And yeah, they look cool, but they don't add anything. Especially on the street, these, the only thing these do, they just look cool. There is no benefit for drilled or slotted rotors in daily driving or spirited driving, as you will. I mean, even on the track, I mean, all those guys run are just solid faces. Like, majority of people at the track will run just regular rotors. Other things, I'm just thinking about walking around the car. This vinyl. This is whatever outdoor vinyl is at Michael's. It's on the gas cap too. It's almost a year old, 10 months, and the color hasn't really faded. Maybe a little bit, but it ripped there, but I think that's from me wrapping. I did a terrible job wrapping this. I always plan on replacing the spoiler. Never did because I'm lazy. Yeah, the vinyl's pretty good. This is also the, oh, it's Oracle 951, that's what it is. The Oracle vinyl, you know, this has been on there for years. Same thing with Moto Taco. Hasn't faded at all. So it's decent vinyl. It's just really hard to work with in my experience. Like, you might be like, oh, it's easy, and I'm just dumb. I don't know how to do it. But in my opinion, it's kind of hard. But with it peeling, that means a new color. So let me know what color. I have a couple in mind, but I want to see what y'all think. What color would you want the wheels and all the little accessories? What do you want to see? I've done purple. I've done high vis green. I've done copper. I've done teal. Pretty much it. The big kicker is the engine has, you know, metallic shavings and copper shavings in the oil, and it eats a whole lot of oil. You know, the suspension kind of gave out. So other than that, it's been a great car. Yeah, there's no telling what made the engine go out. Could just be the engine. It is tuned. You know, it has catless exhaust. It has government approved exhaust on it. Could be that. There's literally no telling. Bearings give out because they're bearings. It's not like I do something and it's like a light switch and then it happens. Like, it is what it is, and it sucks. So if you want to keep more up to date with it, I found TikTok. I hated TikTok at first. I'm not getting a TikTok. Now I kind of wish I got a TikTok earlier, but that's probably where I'll be posting like quick little snippets because it's a whole lot easier just to record and upload there. Instagram, I'm still like on and off with Instagram. I do mostly stories, so, you know, follow me there if you want to stay up to date. I'll run some polls on Instagram for colors and whatnot, or, you know, just comment below. But yeah, follow me on TikTok. I have some funny stuff every now and again. With that, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.